Introducing Travel Well podcast series presented by packitup.org.
This is the Travel Well podcast series where we explore and share the stories of perseverance, resilience, and overcoming the challenges of living abroad. I'm your host, Christian Brown, global citizen, writer, and entrepreneur. Let's get into it. You are tuned in to the Travel Well podcast. I'm your host, Christian Brown, and we have another exciting episode for you today. The Travel Well podcast is the only podcast that sits at the intersection of travel and wellness. And so on this podcast, we like to explore people's lives who have made the decision to move abroad, and we like to see how that decision has affected their personal growth, their mental health, and their overall wellness. And so today, I'm excited to introduce my friend Cathy Lin, who has been living in Paris, France for 5-6 years, something like that.
6 years and a half.
6 years and a half. Amazing. So, Cathy, can you first just introduce yourself to our listeners and share what motivated you to move to Europe?
Okay. Hi, I'm Cathy Lin, and I'm very happy to be here. And I'm from Taiwan, and I've been living in Paris since 6 years and a half. And what motivated me to come here? I came here to study in the beginning to study my master in luxury marketing and management. And the reason I choose Paris is because I was fascinated about fashion, art, and I think Paris is a great place for this. And my dream was to work in a French fashion company before I came here. So I was like, well, if I learn French, if I have if I attend the school here, it will give me more opportunity to go to a French fashion company back in Taiwan. Yeah. So that was my plan initially. I thought I would have gone back to Taiwan, but at the end I stayed. Yeah.
Interesting. So is that a normal thing to do for people from your country or from your city to move abroad for school? Or?
Yeah, I would say not everyone, of course, but I would say a lot of people want to study abroad, especially in university or in master. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And then what are some? We'll name one moment. One moment of significant personal growth that you experienced because of moving abroad.
There are a lot of incidents that affect my personal growth. I would say the first time was when I was looking for an internship in Paris, because as a foreigner, it wasn't that easy to find a job here, and especially I didn't speak French, and it took a lot of mental strength and resilience to find a job here. And one of my friends talked to me about mindfulness and all that, and that was the first how do you say that? The first time I heard about mindfulness, and I started to be more spiritual and care more about personal development.
Yeah.
And I think it really changed me a lot, mentality wise. And I think that's the turning point, one of the turning points for me. Yeah. And I would say the second time was during COVID, and I was on chômage partiel, which means partially unemployed.
Okay.
France, which means company put you on hold for your job, but actually the government still pays you. So I actually had the time, I don't have to go to work, but I still receive money from the government. So I was probably I should start my own project. And during COVID, you had nothing to do. So I was reading a lot of books and watching videos about personal finance and starting a business. And I started to realize I was really interested in entrepreneurship. Yeah. And I think if I stayed in my home country, I wouldn't start my business, because I had more access to different informations and see how entrepreneur works, from different backgrounds and So during COVID, I got to start my business, also because of the French benefit. Yeah, because in Taiwan, this doesn't exist. Like, if the company puts you on hold, you won't have money from the government.
No money from the government.
So, yeah, so I think, like, everything adds up to the point that I get to stay in France and start my business here. So I think both time were, I would say, like, life-changing.
And it helped you, had you grow personally.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's super cool. So before you actually made the move, like, what are some things that you had to overcome? You know, did you have any family members or friends that were like projecting their fear onto you, or did you have any fear personally, you know, moving to a new country? And what was that like?
Yeah, well, before I came to Paris, my mom was very worried, and she's not, I would say she's not the most adventurous person. And she didn't mean to put me down, but she was worried. So that's why she would say that, oh, why are you going to Paris? Because at the end you will find the same job and it won't help you and all that. But like deep in me, I knew that I have to do this. Like, I shouldn't listen to what other people tell me, because I know, like, I have to come to Paris. Yeah. So, I mean, there were some arguments with my mom, but at the end, I'm still here. And now she's very proud of me. Yeah. So I would say, like, don't get affected by the voice around you when you know that you're on the right path.
Yeah, I think that's super important, because that's, in one of the previous episodes, one of our guests talked about how some people may just be fearful, may have their own fears that they project onto you, and it makes you scared as well. But, like, you have to be able to separate the two things. Like, you be able to say, okay, this is what they say, and they're saying this because why? Are they saying this because they're scared, or are they saying this because they care?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Well, back in the time, I didn't understand this. I just thought that my mom didn't believe in me. Yeah. It actually becomes my motivation. I was like, oh, I want to prove her that I can make it. Yeah. So actually, I did my best, and it motivated me to, you know, be, I wouldn't say, like, successful, but, like, I want to do something here to prove her that I can make it.
Oh, okay. So that could be cool too. So you kind of use that as motivation. Like, you didn't let it stop you. You used it as motivation.
Yeah.
That's cool. What would you say was, like, the biggest fear before moving abroad, and how did you overcome it?
I would say the biggest fear was not to able to support myself financially here. Because, to be honest, like, I borrowed money from my mom to study in here. But once I finish my study, I have to, like, technically return her the money. And like, another fear was not be able to find a job here as a foreigner. And yeah, but, like, apart from that, like, it was just a voice in my head, but it didn't really stop me. Like, for me, it was kind of like a challenge. Yeah, because I was like, even if I don't succeed, I can go back to my country. Yeah, so, like, the worst case scenario is not that bad, actually. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, so I just...
Yeah, and how did you overcome the financial fear? Because that's a fear that holds a lot of people back. It's like they don't believe they'll be able to support themselves, or...
Well, like I said, like, I just thought about the worst case scenario, and I was like, it's not that bad. Like, if I couldn't support myself, I'll just go back to Taiwan. But, like personally, I like to find ways to make money. Like, even if I don't support myself here, I can always work remotely, work with clients from my country, or figure out something. And yeah, I just believe that with internet you can make money anywhere. You know.
Yeah, 100%. And then, like, now that you've been there for 6.5 years, I'm sure you probably built a community. You probably had many friends. So how was that journey for you? The journey of, like, making new friends?
Yeah, well, I remember the first 2 years were the most difficult time, because I was a student and an intern. And so I was broke and I didn't have a lot of friends, so I was broke and lonely. So I was really
That sounds
depressed.
terrible. Broke and lonely.
But it I think it helped me a lot with my personal growth as well.
Yeah.
Like, I think I appreciate more since that. Like, I appreciate the people I meet. I appreciate the opportunity I have here. And I think when you have the lowest point in your life, and you appreciate more
For sure.
that you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking about community, I think how I create my community is just to go out there and be more proactive. Like, you can just stay with the same group of friends and expect that you will meet new people. You have to show up and talk to people and be more extrovert. Yeah. And
Yeah, what are some of the things that you did to find people? Like, were there any certain events or classes? I mean, I guess WeWork, right, which is where we met. We met at a WeWork event.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, where do I meet my friends? Well, WeWork, roommates. Oh, I was living in a big co-living place with 13 people.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how I met a lot of friends too. And from school and at work.
Dang.
Yeah. And also friends of friends. Like, whenever my friends like organize a party or event, I just join and I talk to people there. So
Yeah.
met those people.
How was it being a foreigner and connecting with new people? Do you find that there are like cultural challenges that you have to deal with, or how do you even like go about that? How do you think about cultural differences with people? Because I think that may be one of the fears that people have. They're like, oh, well, if there's nobody that looks like me or that talks like me, like maybe I won't be accepted, or it may be difficult. What have you learned about that?
Well, culturally, well, I would say, yeah, of course there is like cultural difference, but when you just be nice to people and like initiate a conversation, I don't think there will be a problem to make friends. But I think if you want to create a deep connection or a deep relationship with people, there is a difference. Yeah, like for example, I think French people likes to stay with their old group of friends. So if you're a newcomer and you want to join them, it takes some time to fit in with them. And it's better when you know someone and they bring you to their group. Yeah. So when you live here for a while, you will know like how things work and you'll know how to approach people.
That's true. And I think there are just some rules to meeting people that are universal, like just being nice.
Yeah.
To people. That's one of the simple things that you can do to make friends or to just be accepted. If you're just nice and curious and you just talk. Right?
I think the basic thing is just be nice and share interesting moments together, and then and things will work out.
Yeah. No, that's cool. So what's something that you learned about yourself living abroad that you might not have discovered if you had stayed in your home country?
Yeah, I think like the fact that I'm interested in entrepreneurship, it's something that I never thought when I was in my home country.
Interesting.
Because I think my culture, people value more security. And there's a lot of information about entrepreneurship, but in my there's a lot of like information about entrepreneurship back in my countries, like a lot of negative information, such as like you can lose money, it's a very risky things to do, and and like when I came here, I saw a lot of content about starting a business and how people succeed, and it inspires me a lot. And back in Taiwan, there's no a lot of information like this. So and coming here opens my eyes and makes me realize that I like to be an entrepreneur.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's super cool. What are some misconceptions you had about living in Europe that were changed after you moved? Hey, so check this out. I want to take a few seconds to tell you about Blemish. So I'm the co-founder and CEO of a startup called Blemish, based in France, and it's the whole reason I really moved to Paris. And our goal is to unlock access to mental health and care resources globally. So when we do that is through community. We throw events all around the world, and we have a community of people who are committed to bettering their mental health. And as a part of that, we created these bracelets, these blemish stacking bracelets. Each one has a different positive quote on it, and it's just a reminder, a daily reminder for you to stay positive, for you to know that you're one connection away, for you to be aware of the growth that you experience, to know that you can execute with excellence, to know that you never lose, you either win or you learn. And so these bracelets are a great daily reminder, and they just look good, right? You can stack them, wear them with other bracelets, but the ultimate goal is to give you that daily reminder to keep going, stay positive, and do the work. And so if you go to blemish.com/store right now, you'll be able to see the bracelets, read about them, see some pictures of people wearing them, and you'll be able to get one for you or for a loved one. So go to blemish.com, that's BLIMISH.com/store. You can find all the information that you need. All right, back to the episode.
Misconceptions.
I can ask it in a different way. I guess, what are some things that you believed to be true about Paris or about Europe in general that when you got here you realized that it wasn't true? Was there anything like that?
Yeah, but it's gonna be negative. No, okay. For example, I think the things that the biggest thing that I noticed is okay, it's gonna sound negative.
But it's true though, it's honest.
Yeah, it's true, it's honest. Yeah, so like you would think like France is a very advanced and very like they have their heritage, but I imagine they are also very modern and advanced. But when you come here you realize that, like, for example, administration, they collect paperwork, and I'm like, damn, it's 21st century, like you can just do it online. Or the metro system, there's always problems. It's very unorganized. But that, I would say that maybe that's a charm of France, that they are romantic.
Maybe. Yeah, I think that could be one of the charms of France. In Europe in general, there's like this classical type of energy.
Yeah, and I think that
traditional.
Yeah, and I think that because people enjoy their life more here, they don't work that much. So that's why things might not be as perfect as in a capitalist country.
Yeah, that's a good point, because they don't really care. It's like they like the simple things.
Yeah,
they're fine with the simple things.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess that's. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I learned too is simplicity. You know, you can be fine and happy with simple things.
Yeah.
Like just going for a walk, just having a drink with a friend.
Yeah.
Right. So I think those things are more valued here than say they are in my country.
Yeah. I think people value experience more here, because back in my country people value money, status, people work really hard. And here people don't really care much about that. They care if they get to travel, they enjoy a good time and
be with their family.
Yeah, and I think like people can be truly happy to, you know, like appreciate the moment you're spending and not caring too much about status or like superficial things.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's one of the big benefits of moving abroad, is just seeing life from a different perspective.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it makes you realize, okay, life is not just what I saw growing up.
Yeah.
You know, like people are living totally different. They care about totally different things. And then I think it allows you to discover yourself and learn, what do you truly care about now? Exactly. How do you care about the money or status, or do you more care about the good special moments?
Exactly. Like before I came to France, my dream was to work in a big company and be in a big position. And now I'm like, well, I think I value more freedom and my time. So being an independent allows me to like fulfill what kind of life I want, and this is something I realized here. Yeah.
It's like I think that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. And so since you've been in Paris, Talk to me about the opportunities that you've received to travel to different places. You know, what are some places that you traveled to since you've been here that have, you know, changed your perspective on life?
I think being in Paris, something amazing is that you can just go to another country, visit a beautiful town in Europe on the weekend, and sometimes like I just feel like I need to travel, and I just book a ticket for next week, and I just fly alone, and I go there. I meet so many people, and like get to know people from Spain or Portugal, everywhere, and you realize that, oh, like although they're all European, but the way they socialize, the way they think about, you know, like their mentalities are so different, and it's really interesting to make connections from different backgrounds. And yeah, and I think like I don't know, like since I live here, even though I've been here for 6 years and a half, I still feel like every time I'm a tourist, I feel like I'm always on an adventure, and that's what makes my life really interesting.
Yeah. I love that. What are some things that you've learned about traveling alone as a woman? Like what are some like what's kind of your strategies for staying safe and stuff?
I would say like most of the cities in Europe are safe, so
nice.
I don't think much. Yeah, I think they're just pickpockets, and that's it. And if you need help, people are actually nice and they will help you, especially if you're a woman. So.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. I don't think people know that for real if they haven't done it. So that's cool. But
yeah,
you feel pretty safe in most European cities by yourself?
Yeah, well, you just have to be careful. Like if you pass by a weird street, of course you have to move fast, and you have to recognize who looks weird, who might be pickpockets, and
right.
Yeah,
but it's not a big concern.
No,
that's good.
No, I don't feel any life danger here.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to someone who was considering a similar journey as you, to come into Paris, maybe going to school, getting a job at a fashion company, you know?
Well, I think something that's very important is to be resilient, because you will have many rejections. Because like for local French people, finding a job is already difficult. And when you're a foreigner, it's even harder. But when you get to achieve it, you will have life-changing experience.
Yeah, that's super cool. And so from a career standpoint, it's like you came here for school, and then you worked for a French company after that, and then you started your own business.
Yes.
What are some things that you learned about like yourself and your career throughout that journey?
About myself and my career.
Are there any significant moments throughout that journey that just helped you to get to the next step?
Yeah, I think like the previous question that I talked about COVID and me being an entrepreneur.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and before that, when I was working in a company, I think I gained more confidence in that job, because that was the first job I have in a foreign country, and I was a bit, nervous and maybe not that confident, like in the beginning, because you're like, oh, I'm working with like people that are not from the same country, and the culture is so different. How would it be?
Yeah.
And actually, like, I get along well with my boss, and everything goes well. So I just realized that everything can be possible, and like, of course, you will have fear, but things will just work eventually.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. And I think one thing that's very important, like when you believe that you can make it, you will just make it.
Yeah, I believe that too.
Yeah.
How do you maintain connections back at home while you're living abroad?
Oh, well, I call my mom. I go back once a year. I message my friends, like how you normally how people would do. Yeah, but well, actually, now I have more close friends in Paris than I do in Taiwan.
Oh, cool.
So I lose some contact with some people there, and I think it's also like the life is so different
For sure.
already. Like they have different experience. I have different experience. I live abroad, and they probably got married and have kids. So we're just in a different path.
Yeah, for sure. How do you deal with that personally? Because for me, like I can relate to that too. Just some of my friendships have just not been the same because I'm not, I'm not there. I'm 6 hours ahead, and it's just completely different. So I think about it, often. It's about how I wish, some of my friendships could be closer, but for me,
Yeah. Well, with my close friends, whenever I go back to Taiwan, we feel close again. Yeah, it's just like maybe we talk less when I'm here, but when I go back, I would just feel like, oh, like it doesn't feel like we're having a part for a little time. Yeah, because you're so connected and you know each other very well. So when you see them, you're like, yeah.
I think a lot of it is internal, just the stories that we tell ourselves and make up in our heads. Like, okay, this person, I haven't talked to this person in maybe a month, so they probably don't even care about me anymore. Those stories that we tell ourselves, but we find out that they're, most of the time not true.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, if people really care about you, they care about you, no matter how long it's been or how far.
Yeah, and actually there's nothing that you can do. Like, and like if they forget about you, I don't think they will forget about you. Like when you go back and see them, friendship is still there.
For sure.
Yeah.
So that's good too. That's good for people to know, because that may be another fear that people have is just.
Well, I would say that everything has a good part and bad part. Where you would lose some of your close friends, but you will make new close friends. Like you will meet more people. You will create new friendships here. Something that you wouldn't have back in your countries. Yeah. That's cool.
And so when you looking forward in your life, how do you see your experiences abroad influencing your future plans?
Well, before I came here, I didn't expect that I would stay here, but now I want to get the citizenship and just stay in Europe. Yeah, because I really like the lifestyle here, and like I said, like every day feels like an adventure.
Really?
And because Taiwan is small, so like personally, I like to see different people, go to new places. But when you live in a small island, you just go to the same places, meeting same people. Some people like it because it's like secure and comfortable, and for me, I like new things. So I think it depends on your personality too.
How would you describe the lifestyle in Paris or in Europe for someone who's watching and they may have never even been to Europe, or they've been to Europe but never actually lived there? Like how would you describe the lifestyle?
Yeah, I think people really enjoy the moment and be present. Yeah, like again, there's a good part and bad part. Like people will okay, let me talk about something. Okay. Yeah, in terms of lifestyle, like for example, on weekend people just go next to the river and just sit there for an entire day just to talk to their friends. Like people really enjoy the present moment. They won't think that, oh, I stay here for too long, I'm like I should do something different or something. Like people just stay and just enjoy the moment. Yeah, like people are not in a rush. Of course, like if you see people in the metro, they are rushing to go to work, of course. But like it's just different from my country, because in my country, people has to always be productive. Like on weekend, they might join a class and then go do something else, see a friend. Like everything, like your day has to be full and busy. And here, like people just chill and just relax, enjoy the moment, don't think too much. Yeah. And I think like, I don't know, like living in a capitalist country, you can have burnout and yeah.
That's cool. I love that. So cool. So now we're going to go do a session called Rapid Fire. I'm going to give you some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Yeah.
First, coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Favorite local dish?
French dish.
Favorite French dish?
Onion soup.
What's one app that you can't live without?
Instagram.
Morning or night person?
Night person.
What's one word to describe your first day abroad?
Excited but nervous.
Love it. Well, awesome. Well, Cathy, thank you for joining me for this podcast and sharing your experience, sharing your insights and your story.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
It was amazing. So thank you all, everyone, for watching another episode of the Travel Well podcast, where we sit at the intersection of travel, living abroad, and wellness. So we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Be well.